Oh, yeah. How are you, folks? Happy Memorial Day on a Monday. That's right, we're working. That's what we do here at the Nick DiPaolo Show. We work and we work and we work. How are you? Good to be with you. Interesting weekend. All my stuff showed up from New York. I've been down here a month living on a mattress like Henry Hill and fucking Karen. And the movers showed up 9 o'clock on Sunday morning. 2 Russians and 3 black guys. They were phenomenal. I've never seen guys work like this in my holy. I feel like a dick. I'm walking around doing nothing. But it's like, then I was reminded I paid like $8,000 for this, you know. Guys looking at me like I'm going to pick up a box. I'm like, fuck you. I paid $8,000. You pick it up. And just a fucking, I got boxes piled to the ceiling, and they broke a marble table right in half. They put it back. You can't even see the crack, but the wife has to be bitchy about it, you know. So I started talking Russian with the Russian. He's supposed to be working. We're talking about Ovechkin for like 10 minutes, how good Ovechkin is. And he loves Trump, by the way. A Russian kid. 6 years ago, he didn't speak a lick of English, moves here. He lives in Texas now. He lived in New York City. Now he's in Dallas. And he couldn't have been he was a jovial, funny, just a fucking great guy. And I had weights. I had dumbbells. I look in the truck. The black guy's doing my dumbbell. In between moving pianos and shit. And fucking armoires. And then cable. I've been down here for a month. My cable goes in and out every 8 minutes. Comcast, get your shit together. Jesus H. Christ. I'll watch I record a couple Red Sox here. I'll watch, it'll stay up for about 10 minutes, and then it drops. And then when it resumes an hour later, it goes back to what I was watching. I've been watching the same play. Fucking Devers charging a ground ball. I saw that 8 times. A month now, they can't figure it out. You have to be dog styling me. It's fucking, I'm living on the nicest street in the fucking town. You can't. The guy actually says, the guy that installed it, we've gone past him, 3 guys over him. We had a brainiac right from Calcutta sitting there with pulsing veins, and he's like, I don't know, maybe a squirrel bite the lamp. It's really? A fucking squirrel? Jesus Christ. To this, we still don't. And it's hard when you just moved in, there's nothing to fucking do. I can't read. I'm too depressed to read and write. I'm laying on a shitty mattress. I got a guy doing my floors singing in Spanish. What a long... I feel like I've been down here for a year now. Fucking. But all my shit's in the house finally. And mother of God, it's going to be a year. Thank God I have a wife that knows what she's doing. But what an aggravating... Come on, fucking Comcast. Get your shit together. Honestly. Happy Memorial Day. And that means a lot to all those men and women who have made the ultimate sacrifice for this country. And especially for comedians. Guys like me, they allowed me to, shoot my mouth off. That's what this country's about. It used to be, until big tech showed up. And but we can't thank you guys enough who paid the ultimate price. And don't confuse it with Veterans Day, which I used to do like an idiot. But, you make the ultimate sacrifice, and nobody appreciates more than stand-up comics who, I shouldn't say that. Now it's so PC, and half of them are for censorship. The fucking idiots who just don't get it. We're coming at you live, by the way. Right, Billy boy? You can lose your shit.
Okay. We'll do it live.
Okay.
We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it, and we'll do it live.
Sounds like every meeting I have with Jason.
Fucking thing sucks.
That's me yelling at his computer. Fucking thing sucks. Yeah, so... Yeah, thank you, people, and their families have made the ultimate sacrifice. Matter of fact, there's a great story. This World War II veteran, he's 97 years old, and he still works at a New Jersey grocery store, okay? World War II vet. Imagine. Bart Benny Facetto served as a gunner on fighter planes, but now he helps customers at the checkout counter at the Stop and Shop in Edison, New Jersey. Can you imagine he was in his 20s or 18, shooting from a plane, getting shot at? What were you guys doing when you were 18, 20 years old? Nothing. Me either. What was I doing? I was working at a mental institution in Danvers, Mass. I'm telling you, as a groundskeeper. I had no shirt on. I was in the best shape of my life at a mental institution. I had about 5 crazy broads that wanted to blow me, but they had teeth like great whites, and drove around on a tractor for 6 hours, reported to work at 10 o'clock. We started wrapping up around 3:30, and it was state work. I was getting paid, I don't know, fucking $30 an hour. This is in 1983. That's what I was doing, and then chasing pussy at night. This guy was on a fucking plane having Germans shoot at him. That is the greatest generation ever, and it started to get weaker right after that. Now we're beyond fucking the worst generation. Whatever, Alyssa Milano, she's probably a little younger than me. Fucking dunderhead. I'll get to you in a few minutes, sweet tits. Nick, that's sexist. Anyways, yeah, this guy, Benny Facetto, 97, still working. Here's a couple clips of him.
Why don't you take breaks?
Oh, I don't want to take a break. I never take a break. I never do.
Why?
It's useless. I gotta go sit down, take a break, then come back and work. That's me right here.
Oh, wow, that's you?
Look at Benny.
See,
Oh, boy. You look like a famous movie star. Can you tell me anything about World War II?
dangerous. Very dangerous.
Did you think you'd make it home?
No. The day I didn't fly out, they shot my plane down.
Pause.
Never saw it.
The day he didn't fly out, the one day he didn't take his plane out, they shot it down. Can you imagine still getting... I didn't want to come here this morning. I'm fucking 57. Wanted to lay on my mattress on the floor and suck in fucking polyurethane. It's like I'm huffing my house. Can you imagine this guy? And people love him. Go ahead.
Again?
Never saw it again.
World War II vet? So was my dad.
Yeah. Let me tell you something. I was a rough character.
Oh, yeah? Always got into trouble, didn't you?
When I was young, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want.
The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want.
I think I am.
Korea, Vietnam. Glad you're making it home okay.
You made it home too.
Yeah, we both made it.
I'm happy I come back.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of boys never came back.
And that's what Memorial Day is for.
Yeah, that's what it's for. For the boys that never come back. People, the men that never came back.
Now it's for drinking and burning yourself on the grill and getting fucked up. And Memorial Day, and how do we pay tribute to these guys? 50% off a mattress at fucking Target. Yeah, that's how we pay tribute to these guys. They really were the great. They only stopped the world from tyranny, ladies and gentlemen, which now it's coming from inside our country. That's all they did. And they came home and they started families, the ones that survived, that didn't die, started families and businesses and never talked about it. Today, some guy pulls a hamstring for the Yankees. He's on the news for 22 fucking minutes. I'm telling you today, I don't know what the Yankees are going to do. But God bless that generation. Honest to God, man. Do we have any more of our friend?
You gotta keep working.
Until I drop dead.
I never get that guy at the grocery store. I always get the fucking 18-year-old, the chip on his shoulder. He recognizes my special and he hated it, so he puts the eggs on the bottom and puts 3 cans of heavy cling peaches on top. Unfucking believable. Benny, God bless you, man. Till I drop dead. I don't have that in me. I'm 57. Another 20 years would be nice. I do not want to be in a diaper. How about him? He's still got all his marbles. That's what's unbelievable. I think we would have all been better off, us guys, if we... That's why I sort of think they should bring the draft back. Little discipline. Little tough love. If there's any nation that needs it, it's this nation of pussies.
I mean, that's what organized sports are good for, but they want to kill that too.
What's that?
Organized sports, that's what those are for, but they want to kill those too.
Yeah, they do. Competition is what made this country great. But, you know what I do like? That women's softball. I was watching the playoffs. Every other broad is built like friggin', Larry Zonka, but every once in a while there's one of those fucking... I'm flipping through. There's 3 games on. I stop on this pitcher she had a Georgia peach for an ass. And you can tell the straight ones, they wear the ribbons in their hair just to let you know. But these girls, man, I mean, forearms like friggin' Ali, and just, it pisses me off. They throw better than me, and what does that tell you, Nick? Well, I was a bitch. That's what I'm telling you. Anyways. What else is in the news? Oh, Alyssa Milano, Sweet Tits Milano. John Voight put out a video praising Trump, and we still calling her an actress? Really? Do fucking infomercials about soap and zit medicine? I guess it does take some acting when you're lying about a product. She commented on John Voight's praise of Trump. Of course she did. She has nothing better to do. And what he called Trump the greatest president since Abe Lincoln. Now, normally, you know what? I would disagree with that too, but because of the 2 years of horseshit he's gone through with a silent coup, and it's all going to come out, folks. Excuse me. What he's accomplished with all this fucking Russia hoax, and he's still got stuff done, I'm going to put him up there. He passed Reagan for me. And the fact that he exposed the media for what it is makes him my favorite of all time. George W. Bush, they used to trash him every 3 seconds, and he'd turn the other cheek. He did that for 8 years. What did it get us? Obama. Trump comes on the scene, flips over the apple cart. Oh, I don't like him. He's abrasive. Get over it. He crushed ISIS in a fucking week. The economy's never been better. He's meeting with Kim Jong-un and scumbags like that we never talked to. He's telling China, you better quit fucking with us. He's done everything he said he's going to do, except for the wall, which is his number one promise. Get on it, fella. But that's only because the Dems don't want any part of it. You shut that off, you shut off their spigot to future votes. That's simple. Anyways, Milano, who has publicly opposed the president, quote, tweeted a Twitter Moments post about Voight's comments with the caption, "Now I understand why Republicans like to discredit actors in our political views. Stay in your lane, John." This is what she's saying. Has been. She calls him a has-been. What kind of glass house do you have? Has been. F-lister. Trying to stay relevant. Again, okay, what kind of zit cream are you selling at midnight on Channel 78? You fucking brainless wonder, you. Nobody cares what an out-of-touch actor thinks. Holy shit. Talk about the fucking kettle calling the whatever black. Can I say that without getting kicked off Twitter? I said kettle and black. Look out! That's racist against cookware. This broad just never shuts up.
You need to shut the fuck up.
Still very pretty, though. But look at the fucking numerous responses indicated that many took her tweet as a jab at Voight's relevance. Remember this when she said this? Our reproductive rights are being erased until women have legal control over our bodies. We just cannot risk pregnancy. Join me by not having sex and using a pussy as a weapon like it was meant to be. I'm adding for emphasis. I'm calling for a sex strike. Remember that? And you know what I say to that young lady?
Make me a sandwich. Make me a fucking sandwich.
Voight shared a pair of videos Friday in which he praised Trump, slammed his critics, and called the Republican the greatest president since Lincoln. Here's John Voight. Sounds like he smokes 8 packs a day.
People of the Republican Party, I know you will agree with me when I say our president
with that voice, I'm
has
afraid
our
not to.
utmost respect and our love. This job is not easy, for he's battling the left and their absurd words of destruction. I've said this once and I'll say this again, that our nation has been built on the solid ground from our forefathers, and there is a moral code of duty.
Yeah, but they're white. They're white
that
guys.
Has been passed on from President Lincoln.
They own slaves.
I'm here today to acknowledge the truth, and I'm here today to tell you, my fellow Americans, that our country is stronger, safer,
Do you have a stroke?
and with
Giselle?
more jobs
A mini stroke?
because our president has made his every move correct. Don't be fooled by the political left, because we are the people of this nation that is witnessing triumph. So let us stand with our president. Let us stand up for this truth, that President Trump is the greatest president since Abraham Lincoln. God bless America.
Holy
and may God
moly.
continue to guide this nation.
And
Much
again,
love.
I wouldn't necessarily agree with that unless this Russian hoax, he's got all this done with, it's like a football play with two guys on his legs and he's trying to run and he's dragging them along and along. I don't care what you think about Trump. Yeah, and he's, loudmouth. We don't like his personality. Mentally as tough as anybody. His father must have beat him silly every time he fucked up. This guy. But he's a leader. And like I said in my special, Breath of Fresh Air, which is up to, 410,000 views, somewhere in that, after 2 weeks or 2.5 weeks. But like I said, this country is a corporation. The left and the right have been saying that for a year, and he's a CEO. I think his timing is good. Okay? So I just hope it doesn't end the way Lincoln's ended. You know what I'm saying? With Trump at a multiplex in Times Square watching, Avengers 3. What's the fucking... Somebody comes in, fucking Captain Antifa and puts one on the back of his head. I'm not giving any ideas. But anyway, so Alyssa Milano, that didn't sit well with her because she's from the worst generation ever. And let's move on to, what do we got here? We were talking about Alyssa Milano's tits. Now, let me ask you, if she had no tits and she was ugly, would anybody listening to her? No, because she wouldn't have got a job in Hollywood. That's how that business works. They even told me that when I first get in. If you want to be a movie star, you got to have a face, and people have to want to fuck you. Who told me that? Harvey Weinstein. And then he threw me down on his couch and violated me. He hurt my ass. But we were talking about her tits and stuff and being sexist. Yeah, that's sexist, whatever, but the world needs that right now after the hashtag #MeToo, which, again, I forgot to say this. I do a bit about Louis and hashtag #MeToo in my bit. But I always preface the Louis thing was I'd punch him in the face if he did that to my sister or friends of mine or whatever the fuck. That being said, they went too far. You even had feminists coming out going, this is getting ridiculous. We can't even get a job now. Guys don't want to fucking hire us. But, tits make the world go round and, women's private parts. That's why the world evolved. If the first two cavemen were gay, we'd still be fucking living in caves. You know what I'm saying? It's like some guy going, I want a blowjob, and the wife goes, I want a dishwasher, and the guy went downstairs and he built the dishwasher because he wanted a blowjob. Brought it upstairs, and he said, what do you think of that? And she said, it's beautiful, and then he goes, bend over it. That's how the world evolved, men trying to meet the expectations of women. So we started chatting about breasts and tits, and hers are real, by the way. And if you're going to, can I just say something? If you're going to get fake tits, please. I was out with a girl a couple of years after I got out of college when people was just starting to get fake tits. She takes her bra off, and one of her nipples was off center by like 3 inches. Where'd you get your tits? Marshall's? Fucking Walmart? So, get good ones, okay? And let's take a look at it. We started talking about tits, and I love tits. I'm still like a 12-year-old boy. There's 3 things I love in the world. Pizza, air conditioning, and tits. In that order. The girl's nipple was over here. She had a lazy nipple. I don't like that. I'm kissing 2 tits. I want them looking me straight in the eyes. Don't be staring at my brother in the corner. I bought the drinks. Anyways, we started chatting about politicians. Jason last week, we were talking about AOC and put up a picture. And we noticed that she had a decent rack. So like guys, we started yapping about that. And we started arguing we went on a search to find out some of the nicest breasts on Capitol Hill and, throughout the political world. And what did we come up with, fellas? Kamala Harris, those aren't bad. She's one of those breasts. She's a beautiful woman. As soon as she opens her mouth, she might as well be the Elephant Man. Where they're anti-white, old men are the problem, fucking blah, blah, blah. White people can't adjust to a changing world, horse shit. Free health care for everybody. Not a bad rack. Go ahead. Now, you sure that's not doctored? That's AOC. That's AOC. I've seen a million pictures of her. Are you sure somebody didn't? Huh? I should have went to BU. That was my That was my other school. I got accepted by University of Maine, University of New Hampshire, Boston University, and if I saw that running around, I went to Maine and I still got in trouble. I was chasing broads from Lewiston who were about 6'3", 260. You get horny up in the woods. That's a good rack. I'm going to stop. Maybe she's right about climate change. You know what? You better take that brow off. It's getting hot. What is she doing there, by the way? She's actually floating on a magic carpet. Next. Who's this? What's her name? Something Cinema? Kristen Cinema from... Again, dude, press the button.
Kristen Cinema
there
from
you go.
Arizona.
Is that button too hard for you? Is that button too hard there, Richie?
He controls it.
Kristen Cinema from where? Look at that rag.
She's from Arizona.
Arizona. There's no ugly girls in Arizona. They actually shoot the ugly ones. They do. They pull a broad over, and the cop goes, you know, I stopped you. And the girl goes, I was speeding. And they go, no, you have green teeth and no tits. Step out of the car, please. Look at the face on her. She looks like a genius. Somebody just sucker punch her? Ah, my tits are so heavy. Look, I never heard of her. She hasn't been on TV. She should take off the Eric Dickerson glasses, number one. And she's got, see, you know what's around her neck? Those are Viagra pills. She's into dick. Next. Pam Bondi, former governor, I think, of Florida. She came on, and those are real too, by the way. She came on right after the Parkland shooting. She was being interviewed on Fox. And even I, a sexist pig, was going, it's a little inappropriate. She had like a low-cut, almost like a belly shirt. I'm trying to cry for the, kids that were killed, and I'm staring at her. I'm all confused. But I remember going, holy shit, is that appropriate after a fucking school shooting? So Beyonce's got a rack on it. Look at the guy to her left going, Yes, sir. Next. And the nicest rack in Washington, D.C., that's right, former Massachusetts Congressman Barney Frank. This is why he got so many young boy pages. Look at that rack. That reminds me of Richard Speck. You remember the guy that went to prison? He was a fucking serial killer. First thing he did when he got in prison, on taxpayer dime, got fake tits. And he put a video up of him in prison with his fake tits, smoking weed, saying he was having a great time. But look at Barney. He broke his left hand, he broke that on a bedpost, spanking it to a filthy Boy Scout porn video. Look at Barney. Anyways, that's a tribute, a Memorial Day tribute. Nice job, fellas. That was those guys. I said, you fucking... You put up a bit, and this is what they came up with. I came in and go, get rid of those, and I replaced all these pictures. Speaking of sex, what's very popular right now? The sex dolls are very popular. I got to be honest with you. If I had the cash, it's like a car. You want a good one, You can get it. There's pedophiles out there who have no money, so they buy like a regular doll, like you would for your kid, and they throw a wig on it and a fucking skirt, but it's still a baby, and it looks weird. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis signs bill outlawing child sex dolls.
You gotta grow up. You're not a kid anymore.
Unfortunately. On Thursday, DeSantis signed into law legislation that bans the sale or possession of childlike sex dolls after it unanimously passed the Florida legislature. SB 160, sponsored by State Senator Lauren Book, Democrat, Plantation, Florida, prohibits a person from knowingly, as opposed to not knowing you had one in your bag, as you're going through TSA at LaGuardia. And they're like, what's with a Chinese 14-year-old kid in your bag? Prohibits a person from knowingly having in his or her possession, custody, or control of an obscene childlike sex doll. Sick people out there.
Hey, little boy, do you want some candy?
No, I don't, Mr. Frank. Can you untie these things and let me out of the house? These are anatomically correct, lifelike silicone dolls that are eerily similar to real human children. What a sick fucking world. made for the sole purpose of sexual gratification, Book said in a statement from her office following the bill's approval. Just as viewing child pornography lowers the inhibitions of child predators, so do these childlike sex dolls that have no place in the state of Florida. Plenty of room in Vermont for them, in California. A legislative analysis found that many childlike sex dolls are imported from China, Japan, and Hong Kong. They're always up to... Do you remember this story? China was selling toys over here, dolls, Barbie dolls, actually. But they had the date rape drug, something HBG or whatever, in the paint on the dolls. They actually threw me out of a bar in New York. I was stirring my Mai Tai with a fucking Barbie's feet. The hell out of here. While supporters of the bill say owning the doll should be treated like possession of child pornography, others claim the dolls could prevent pedophiles from acting on their impulses with real children. How do you feel about that, fellas?
That's a crock of shit.
Now explain why it's a crock of shit, my religious friend D. No, I'm serious. Take your time, dude. Beautiful.
Sorry.
You might crack at the question in there, Henry.
It's because God made man to lay with women, not children.
Says who?
The Bible?
Oh, now you're religious? Fucking heathen from Westchester? No, I know, but I agree with you. I mean, they use it for practice. Nothing's going to beat the real thing. That's why most people don't buy sex dolls. So they're gonna practice on it. So I don't know. I disagree with that wholeheartedly. And it's going to remind them that they're a pedophile every morning when they wake up and see a fucking doll in a miniskirt that's 6 years old. Oh yeah, that's right. I'm a sick fuck. Time to get down to the schoolyard for recess. Violation of the law is a third-degree felony. Subsequent violations are being deemed second-degree felonies. The law goes into effect October 1st. So you sick pedophile fucks, you better get out there. The Memorial Day sale. Where do they sell toys now? It's not Toys R Us. That's closed. Seriously.
Amazon.
Of course.
You need a discreet package, a discreet box when it comes to your house. And where do you keep one of these when your family comes over? That's my question.
What do you mean? They're sitting at the table just like any other kid on Thanksgiving. Hey, who's this 6-year-old blonde girl? Never mind. Pass the stuffing, Uncle Ted. Where do you keep it? Discreet packaging. It's like buying Viagra. I think it's a good law. I might be old-fashioned. Yeah, you're an old white curmudgeon. Anyways. Yeah, I'm not into fucking kids, whether plastic or real. Call me a weirdo. Anyways, one more quick story before I get to, and I should have teased this at the top of the show. Colin Quinn, I did an interview with him last week. He's got a special tonight airing on CNN called Red State, Blue State. I watched him develop it. This guy is as good as you'll get in comedy. And anybody who doesn't like Colin, I've been saying this for years, because he goes over a lot of people's heads. He never gives in to the dummies. But anybody who says, I don't like him, that's a litmus test for me. I'm like, then I hope you don't like me, because he doesn't get any better. His thing's airing tonight on CNN at 9 p.m., Red State versus Blue State. We'll get to that in a minute. Had a nice chat with Colin, my closest buddy in the business. But before I get to that, here's more political correctness run amok. WJZ anchorwoman Mary Bubala, who came under fire Thursday for a question she asked about the race, gender, and leadership of Baltimore's past 3 mayors, is no longer with this station. This is why I laugh when people go, oh, you're just an old white guy, entitled, and they don't understand what dangerous comedy is. Because when you come from this point of view, you can lose your job if you're a white person. If you say anything. We're going to show the clip in a second of what she said. It was like a legitimate question, but no, she had to fall on her sword. Mary Bubble is no longer with a WJZ-TV employee. The station apologizes to its viewers for her remarks. The statement said Swain declined to comment further. This guy worked, Audra Swain, the manager of this TV station. Here is what Miss Bubble, here is the controversial thing she said.
for inviting me.
Oh boy, I know you've been talking about this on your radio show today. The question I have for you, we have had 3 female African-American mayors in a row.
Don't go there.
They were all passionate public servants.
They
2
suck.
resigned, though. Is it a signal that a different kind of leadership is needed to move Baltimore City forward?
No, because I think
She doesn't even think about the answer, the black woman. She's a college professor. No, just a knee-jerk reaction. Obviously people watching that who are politically correct. Are you implying we have to have a white guy? No, I'm implying that the last 3 were black women, and they failed miserably. And is it time for some new leadership? And everybody at home is going, who's PC? She means a white guy. Do we have her answer? That's it? That's all I asked for? How dare I? I can read it. Anyways. In a statement sent to The Sun today in the wake of WJZ's action, Whitehead wrote, this is the woman she was talking to, the current conversations around leadership in Baltimore are challenging, emotional, and at times include layers of racism and sexism. There is an assumption that since 3 black women have served as mayor and the city has not entirely changed for the better, that's putting it mildly. It's been going backwards, in reverse. It's not so much about black women, it's about fucking liberal leadership. All the major cities that are run by Seattle, LA, they're all in the shitter. They are all in the shitter. They're in the red. Homeless people are everywhere. We're not supposed to connect the dots. But her knee-jerk reaction, right? No, I don't think so. She says, and then perhaps black women are not fit to lead this city. No, she says, get this. No one can ask racially biased questions in the public sphere, including in the media, without being held accountable. She's saying that this woman didn't even have a right to ask that. Do you guys get that? This is where we are when it comes to race relations. If you're white, you can't even ask that. And the truth of the matter is, those 3 women have failed miserably. It's more about their politics for me than their race or their gender, but they failed. And the college woman, the college professor, results don't matter. Nikki Mayo, who worked in TV news and is immediate past president of the Baltimore Association of Black Journalists, once again, in this colorblind society, we have a black journalist organization, posted video on the interview on Twitter last week, and then all the people came out with it. What's the matter, Jace? All the people came out with their pitchforks, and the social media blowback to Bubba's question was immediate, because everybody on social media is holier than thou. There's not a racist on Twitter. There's not a racist on Facebook. They're all better people than you, and don't forget it. Bubba apologized on Twitter on Thursday and Friday, which was a big mistake in my opinion. Bubba emailed the following statement to The Sun Tuesday, confirming her departure. In my 22 years of working in TV news in Baltimore, 15 of those years with WJZ, I've always treated people with utmost respect and dignity. I loved my job because I love the people of Baltimore. Last week I realized I made a mistake after I was told I made a mistake by all those fucking social justice warriors. I added that in the language I used on air. I immediately apologized for any hurt I unintentionally caused. When you apologize, what you're doing is condoning them coming after you. But this would never happen to a black person, especially in this day and age when I hear black politicians at the national level, high-profile Democrats talking about all white men are the problem. Kamala Harris, people running for president, Beto O'Rourke apologizing because he's a privileged white male. All this talk of all white men. This woman implies that she didn't even come out and say, she didn't go, you think it's because the 3 black broads were just dumb and didn't know what they were doing? It's not what she fucking said. But we can paint with a broad brush when you're talking about older white men, and that's all they do in Washington today, but that's fine. She says, I received immediate support from WJZ because they knew it was not in my heart to intentionally cause this kind of harm. I wanted to do an on-air apology, but was not allowed. So why do you say they supported you? What kind of support is that? They wouldn't let you do an on-air apology. You're a white woman. Stay in your lane, bitch. You can't talk about us. Anyways, I hope that the people of Baltimore know that I would never do anything to hurt anyone. Unfortunately, I now stand in the path of the tornado. WJZ was forced to let me go. I'm saddened and shocked by this decision. And then here's the woman, Mayo. that she was talking. I fall at the intersectionality of being a black and a woman. Yeah, that makes up about 3% of the population. In something like this, I expect a woman to be more sensitive to generalizing a demographic, even though I can say anything I want about old crusty white men being the problem. Fucking hypocrite. I don't know any white women who would become comfortable with an anchor or anyone else asking a question like the one we heard saying, well, we've had 3 women back to back. Do you think it's time for a different kind of leadership? We haven't heard that on a national level. Isn't it time for a black woman president? These old white guys have fucked everything up. We haven't heard that Trump's a racist and a bigot since he got in office. Who are you fucking kidding? I think every white woman I know would have been like, what? What do you mean by that? Do you? Well, you'd be wrong.
Problem. You're the fucking problem. You fucking Dr. White, onkin jamrag, ucking spunk bubble. I'm telling you, H, you keep looking at me, I'm going to put you in the fucking ground. I promise you. Not this time.
Mayo says, she messed up, I get it. But you know that line, the mouth speaks the truth of the heart. She told you how she feels. Oh, and God forbid. No, you interpreted it that way. I'm just saying, folks. I'm just saying. If she can get canned for saying that, the next black politician I hear, woman, like Stacey Abrams, who blames every problem in the world on white men, should step the fuck down. Fair enough? What is this, a one-way street? Come on. My panties are in a bunch. Hold on. We got a super chat. Go ahead, Rick.
You got 3 of them today. Crash Hard
real quick.
Yep. Crash Hard said you were on fire today. Great show. James Shea said...
Thank you very much. Crash Hard.
James Shea said...
Crash hard. I crash hard. When I drink in Boston, I crash hard. Go ahead.
James Shea said Nadler is still fat. Love you from Lawrence, Massachusetts.
I didn't show the goddamn Nadler video. Did I? Okay, what else?
And then we got...
Thank you.
Plant Nation said, when will Owen Benjamin turn on Teddy Spaghetti, which is Vox Day, and that's a podcast war thing that you have nothing to do with.
Why would you read it to me? And I like Owen Benjamin, by the way. People going, you know, why is he not on the... I'm going to have him on the show. But I don't get caught in all this fucking schoolgirl gossip that you guys who hate Owen and people who like him and all that shit, and how does Nick... I don't pay attention to any of that. He's an interesting / kind of crazy dude. And I'll have him on any time. So I just want to space out the interview so we have something new to talk about. But thank you guys for the super chats. I appreciate it, especially on Memorial Day. You should be out doing a cannonball and splashing your fat aunt. Do we have Nadler? Take a look at Jerry Fatman Nadler, who lost 3,000 pounds a few years ago. And we have a clip of him. He passed out at a press conference. What's that, Jay? Go ahead. I'm counting down to you being fired.
Jerry, take a drink. You look a little dehydrated, Jerry.
He looks like my dog when I wake my dog up too quick.
Okay. You want to take a
Look at him. He's he doesn't even know where he is.
How you feel, man?
Get him a milkshake.
Okay.
Hit him in the face with a milkshake.
Right.
I put that up on Twitter. It's got like almost 1,000 likes. Get him a milkshake. No, I'm sorry. That was another tweet I had later on about Martin Luther King Jr. that we might get to later on this week. He wasn't the savory dude that everybody says, but we knew that. And, of course, you get deemed a racist or a bigot or whatever. But anyways, Nadler went unconscious there for a minute. We had another picture I should have given you. He's sitting there. His pants, I'm not exaggerating, his pants are at nipple level. Oh, my God. I'm serious. I'm going to predict he's not going to last much longer. He turned so white, and the guy used to be... Do we have the old picture of him? He was a little heavy, and he lost all this fucking weight, and his brain's with it. But don't worry about it. Not necessary. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, I spoke with Colin Quinn, who, again, tonight, 9 o'clock, CNN, his one-man show, Red State, Blue State. If you miss it tonight, it'll be on Netflix. This guy is just brilliant. I saw the play, and I watched him develop it. And I sat down with him last week. We had an interview. He's a close friend of mine. He's getting hitched in a couple weekends. But here's the great Colin Quinn. Anyways, joining me in the business, you know him. His one-man shows are just killer, whether it's New York Story, Unconstitutional, Long Story Short. His latest creation is Red State, Blue State, and that's going to Netflix. Is it not, Quinn? You seem to have a lot of juice now. Even though you're an older white male, Netflix, that's how good he is. They still use his stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So, first of all, before we get into that, let's get into your personal life. Mr. Colin Quinn is going to be married coming up very soon. I have to go back to New York, to Brooklyn for the wedding, marrying a nice Polish woman who I worked with. Polish woman. I make her sound like a cleaning lady. I worked with Jen at HBO, the Chris Rock show. A smart, funny, beautiful woman. And are you getting cold feet yet? Come on, let's be honest. You're probably shitting your pants.
Well, I've always had cold feet about these kinds of things. You know how it is. Let's face it.
That's true. I've been married 16 years and my feet are freezing right now.
Yeah.
But so what's the difference here? What made you pull the trigger?
First of all, your arms look pretty good. You've been lifting down there.
You couldn't be more wrong. I don't have a gym. I take my shirt. You know who I look like when I take my shirt off right now? Remember Harvey Keitel in The Bad Lieutenant when he had his shirt off? He's kind of cut up here, but he's got a gut. Yeah, smooth and. No, I fucking look. I was looking at myself today in the mirror, and I always hear your voice because you said that. You're like, we're at that age where people look and go, I bet that guy was in good shape a few years ago.
Yeah, yep.
That's
all you can hope for, sir.
Yeah. So, okay, the wedding. Come on. Who am I going to run into that I'm going to hate?
You're talking at the goddamn wedding?
Yes.
What is this, the fucking E! Channel? Come on.
This is what he does. He attacks people who interview him if it doesn't go his way. You dummy. Go ahead. By the way, your haircut's looking more and more like Phil Collins every day.
Then that's not really a cut, is it?
No, at this point, you're right. You can't control it. But I want to hear who's going to be at the wedding. Come on.
Jerry.
That's Jerry Red Wilson.
Jerry.
Oh, wait a minute. I forgot he'd passed away. That's all right. But Jerry Seinfeld.
I thought you were saying it.
Jerry Seinfeld. No, I forgot actually. Jerry Seinfeld.
Everybody from Jerry Seinfeld to Tim Gage.
Oh.
And everybody in between.
Oh my! When you throw Tim Gage at the low end, that's a huge spectrum because this guy does comedy by night and drives a forklift by day. So,
Dylan Murphy.
Dylan Murphy is one of Colin's cousins. Every time I go up to Saratoga, he likes to gamble. I actually saw him throw an empty water bottle at a jockey's head after the jockey lost. And he comes into the green room when I'm at Saratoga playing Tommy's room, hands me a little piece of tinfoil. I'm thinking it's like cocaine. That's what they used to do. I open it up, it's empty, and he just laughs at me with his big glasses. And then he walked out of the fucking room. He didn't say anything. Love him. Dylan, Jerry Seinfeld. I know my buddy Seth Meyers is going to be there. I hope he doesn't watch his show. I'll probably get hit with a piece of cake or something. So, you're very talkative today, Colin. Thanks.
Well, yeah, I'm not trying to wreck the way. You understand?
What?
It's the wedding. I can't be talking like this. I got a wedding to go to. What are you doing?
I didn't say anything bad. I'm the one who has beef.
I'm saying, what do you want me to say to that?
I want you to say, Nick, stay away from Seth Meyers. Grow some balls, will you? I heard he takes karate.
Really?
All right, let's get in. What else? He's still going to the Comedy Cellar, Fat Black. What are you doing?
I'm going to the Comedy Cellar mostly.
You've already started a new hour.
Well, I mean, you know how it is. You always have an old stuff that you don't use, and then you bring it back, and it's all better than anything you've done, and somehow that gets left behind. You know what I mean? You do comedy, and then you're like, I'll do the old stuff. And then not only does the old stuff do better with the crowd,
right,
but the comedians come up and go, that's a great bit. And you're like, oh, thanks. The one I wrote 11 years ago.
Right. They don't realize
it. There's new stuff I'm so proud of that nobody mentions because it's mediocre.
But it isn't. That's the thing about Colin. I watched him work out these plays, these one-man shows. He'd go on before me, the Fat Black Pussycat. He's up there. You talk about a craftsman. He's got his index card. And even in its raw form, I remember watching you, this latest one, Red State, Blue State. You're working on it I'm watching you for at least 7 months, and then you go to me, I think I want to know where this is going to go. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I thought it would be, that's how much effort you put into it. I mean, after 7 months, you're just figuring out where you want to go with it.
Yeah, it's because, especially with the country, the way the country goes now.
Yeah.
Like, when I did Unconstitutional, people would come up to me afterwards and go, and even the end of the show, I was like, we can make this work as a country. And now I really know that you need to break up a country. You look at anything in this country, no one's getting together on abortion, guns, religion. You go down the list. No one's getting together. So it either ends up in a civil war where whoever wins that wins the hearts and minds of people, or you break up.
So your next special will be called Balkanization, is what you're saying?
Yes, that's basically what I think.
Or as Tony Soprano, Balkanization. Yeah, no. No, you're absolutely right. I use this metaphor, this analogy, Colin liked it, about how there's no middle ground anymore. And I said it's like Bobby Orr's knee after his 11th surgery. There's no more cartilage. It's bone on bone. There's actually smoke coming out of his socks when he's
right.
And that
right.
You're absolutely right. What do you see? Seriously, I bring up Civil War and people giggle. And but what would a Civil War look like? I mean.
First of all, I like to know these people on giggle when you bring up a Civil War. They're like, oh, they're like, that's their idea of lighthearted ribbing. A Civil War, what would it look like? It would look like, the only people that would be in trouble would be red state, blue states, barricading down. They both have advantages. The only problem is Austin, Texas would be in trouble. Charleston, South Carolina would be in trouble, and Staten Island would be in trouble because those are places that are outside their element.
But are you saying there will be actual skirmishes within, like you say, Austin, Texas, because it's very liberal, but it's in Texas.
Right.
So
as everyone tries to mass exit us out of there 3 days beforehand.
And they would be surrounded by Chuck Norris and his wife.
Yeah, and by half the army. Remember when we went overseas all the time?
Yeah.
Yes, these soldiers, where are you from? Texas.
I know.
90% of our troops are from Texas.
I know. That's why I love that state.
Yeah.
They don't play. And Staten Island, how does that break? Staten Island.
It's always been like that. It's always been a red borough in a blue city, you know what I mean? From early days, because all the Italians from Brooklyn moved to Staten Island, you know what I mean?
Now, why did they leave Brooklyn? Can you explain that to my fans?
But they even left in the 80s and 90s. And, Bensonhurst, Brooklyn is mostly Chinese now. Most of Bensonhurst and Bath Beach, which was the last big Italian neighborhood in Brooklyn. It went for miles. When I was a kid, I was there all the time. And now they all moved to Staten Island. I told you, they used to call it Verrazano Bridge, the Guinea Gangplank. Because the Italians all went over.
I can't believe Bensonhurst, which was the home of the boys, the bad Italian, is Chinese. How does that? You're an expert on this stuff. How did how do Somalis end up in Minneapolis? Huh? How does that happen?
The Somali thing, I'm not sure. I guess it happened after. I guess they brought over certain states would have these religious organizations that would say we'll bring over this amount of Sudanese, and then the Somalis. I feel like the real interesting one is Ethiopia and Sudan, and then Somalis are sort of close to that. You know what I mean? They're all from that same area of Africa.
Right.
But I'm not sure how they ended up in Minneapolis, and I'm ashamed that I don't know that because I should know that.
Well, my guess, and I guess I'm way off, was the climate was very similar to where they came from. They go from 112 degrees to minus 16 in October in Minneapolis. But it only takes one to plant, like you said, to start a mosque or put an altar up. And the next thing you know, and the U.S. government, you see what's going on right now, people pouring, they're literally putting people on buses and sending them willy-nilly. If they have relatives, they might have a relative in Buffalo, Right.
But it's been like that for years. The immigration system in this country has always been, it's just people seeing it now, but it's always been insane. It's just kind of a random, unregulatable system. And it's just, it's been like this forever. You know me, I've been interested in immigration for years. And it's just but Somalis, no. That's asylum. Asylum is if your government is going to kill you for being, I forget why these Somalis came over, but same with the Sudan, or the Sudanese, and Ethiopians, like the Lost Boys of the Sudan. So certain religious groups bring them over. And in Minnesota, I think it was the Bud Grant Foundation.
I heard they came over here because of the soccer riots in the Sudan. No, you're exactly right. It's so weird. one of your favorite movies and one of my favorite, Napoleon Dynamite.
Oh.
I reminded her because I know how they forced in the ethnic thing at the end, and you got the Mexicans and their lowriders and stuff, and that was set like in Idaho or Iowa, right?
Yeah, Idaho, yeah.
But then I said, wait a minute, that makes sense. They probably didn't know when they were making them, but it makes sense now because you even told me all the meat packing plants are right filled with hardworking.
Yeah, well, that's the whole thing that nobody wants to enforce immigration, the left and the right. Nobody wants to. Maybe the average citizen does, but all the guys who are in the meat plants, all the Democrats want to do it for votes, or whatever, and the Republicans want to do it
for money, commerce,
cheaper labor.
That's
so
right.
all the meat packing plants in Iowa, all those places, they do radio advertisements in Mexico for 20 years. So for 20 years in Mexico, they're like, come up and get a job up north. I mean, that's just the way it's been. But nobody really wants to try everything because then everybody has to look at themselves and go, oh, this is all part of something, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That nobody wants to see. So everybody blaming everything else, it's all true. All the things that people point their fingers at are always true.
Corporations and the left, the left want the future of black and brown vote, and that's all true. But what's going on now, even in the last few weeks, is crazy. I mean, how can you not call that a crisis? I mean, it's up 400% from a year ago, people showing up. And until they change that magnet, that asylum magnet, they know the system. These people are met at the border by immigration lawyers that tell them what to say, right? I have a kid, so as long as they step foot on, you got a kid in their arm. So the Dems are in charge right now as far as Congress and stuff. But you're saying the Republicans also don't mind what's going on.
Yeah, they don't want to. Nobody. I mean, this has been an open secret for 25 years.
I know, but here's the difference now, though. Artificial intelligence, automation, all the jobs being automated. Everybody's going to be pushed out. So, and they're still coming. I mean, how's that good? We're fucked, aren't we? Let's be honest. This country is fucked in a few years.
Yeah, well, everything's connected with globalization. Not this country, the whole world. I mean, look at it. Everything's just insane. Everything's kind of morphing into something else. And like you said, it's all robotic. So I don't know what's going to happen to human beings. We're going to have to, rob the robots on payday or something. It's just going to all be criminals when the robots get paid.
Well, the Democrats say those people floating over the Rio Grande on inner tubes, we can teach them code when they get here, I'm sure, Apple is going to be blind. It's going to look like a George Lopez concert, I'm sure.
But that's the other point. The other point is how many people are coming over from other countries getting legal thing, but because they have these skills that you're telling me Americans couldn't learn that skills. Okay, we're not the brightest people.
Right.
We're never going to be Asia or India. But I'm saying those are a lot of jobs too, but it's legal, but it's still, all the Silicon Valley stuff and, special, whatever they call H-1B visa,
Right.
But look, I mean, this is just the way it is. And you're not going to stop people from coming from Central America because they're living in a nightmare. I mean, they're living in
some of them.
You know what I mean? They're living under drug lord, narco democracy. I mean, it's bad down there. It's like anarchy. So of course they want to come.
Well, there's some legitimate ones, definitely. But are you saying Trump, is this a wet dream, this merit-based system? Is that racist, like the left says?
What's a merit-based system? Yeah.
Well, people coming in, he says we're going to do what Canada does in Australia, where you give them it's based on education and what you can do for this country. And he's catching all kinds of blowback that's racist and,
But but also most of the jobs, like I said, all those factories in the United States and all the canning places, they don't want that either. So I'm saying nobody will really have this country doesn't have discussions. Like we should be having these giant discussions about this kind of stuff, but there's never a discussion. All it is conflicts and whatever it is. There's never like a convention where people sit down and go, okay, here's what's actually happening. Because I don't know why, but it just doesn't happen. So these will never get resolved because everything's kind of done where it's like, oh, forget about that part now. Forget about that part,
But they have to change, like I said, because of automated jobs. You're saying canning and stuff. That's already changing. So why do they still want these people pouring in?
Oh, because slaughterhouses. Stuff like that. You can't get it. That's
going to be all automated. That's going to be automated.
You still need a guy that can handle a butcher knife and just slice somebody's head off without flinching. You know what I mean?
Who better from El Salvador?
Take a chicken. Yeah. I'm just saying, for the money they want to pay too. There's all kinds of, there's all kind. It's money. All this stuff. There's money involved in everything.
I don't want to go to my butcher and he's got a teardrop tattoo and
But I'm saying most of the people coming up, not to be liberal about it, most of the people coming up are escaping from people with teardrop tattoos. That's why they're trying to flee, because it's mostly, that's where Trump was wrong when he goes, they're murderers, they're rapists. It's like, no, they're trying to run from murderers and rapists. So I'm not saying that we can afford to let people in. I'm just saying that that's who's coming up. It's not all the gangs. I mean, they're coming too.
Half of El Salvador MS-13 is living in Long Island, so they weren't running from anybody but themselves.
But I'm saying, in the grand scheme of things.
Right, but there are rapists and murderers.
But this the kind of off the subject thing that just clouds things.
Right.
You know what I mean? And both sides do it, obviously, but it's just cloudy. I want to get to their facts. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get nervous. I like watching the news, and I'm like, oh, Trump is part of this because nothing's getting done, and they're pouring in, and he's out at rallies talking about other shit. So I'm like, it is really it's a big. And Colt is pissed.
Well, I know. Well, it's kind of an interesting thing. Like when I feel like when anything gets examined. So this right now it's immigration.
Yeah.
When anything gets examined, really examined in the country, any issue, you're like, oh, nobody knows what they're doing. And nobody's doing any. People are just like, whoa, wait a minute. I don't want to stick my neck out so that goes for everything. And right now it's immigration. But when you really look at things, nobody has any solutions. And that's why I say everyone should break up.
Well, it's the ruling class. Tucker Carlson's book, Ship of Fools, explains it beautifully. It really is a ship of fools leading us. Some of the dumbest people on the friggin' planet. But, and nobody's steering the ship. It's kind of scary. There's not much leadership there.
It's scary. That's why you need to break up. Because if you break up this country, then people start to see the flaws in their part of the system or the good parts about their system. So, you know what I mean? Let everybody do it. The whole point of the United States is freedom, right? Everybody's supposed to live the way they want to live. You can't do that. People are ideologically opposed from day one in this country. So what are we doing? What are we going to do? We're just going to keep going like this until there's a war. That's what I say. That's how it's going to go.
Will I be around for it? I just bought a beautiful gun.
Yes.
We're going to be brother. We're going to be brother against brother. You're going to be in New York blue, and I'm going to be down here in Georgia.
Well, maybe there'll be some in between states,
Let's shift gears real quick before I let you go. Big tech. I mean, I got this special breath of fresh air, and Facebook won't let me advertise the special on Facebook. So I have a bigger beef with this because this is right out in the open. People are worrying about Russia interfering in the next election. How about Google and fucking Facebook shutting down guys like me and to you to some extent? I mean, how do we? Are they ever going to get broken up, or are they too rich and powerful? What do we do about these?
I don't know. Yeah, like we were talking about the other day. Who's gonna be the new tech guy? There's no
right wing tech guy.
Yeah.
I want a right wing. Zuckerberg. But where is that guy?
Right. He's.
I'll tell you where he's in the Oval Office right now.
Tweeting.
But I mean, this is serious.
But it is crazy that they're censoring you. That's ridiculous. You know what I mean?
It is and it isn't.
Shadow censoring?
Not just shadow. There's been actual politicians called Republican politicians in races whose advertisers don't get shown in some markets, and they don't even know. Like they put an ad out on Twitter. So I don't want to hear about the fucking Russians. I want to hear about the left-wing Silicon Valley scumbags who are going to interfere in the next election. Look what they tried to do to Trump in this last election. Are you shitting me? I don't know how, even with the economy being great, he's got the mainstream media against him, he's got the tech against, social media against him. It's unbelievable.
But he doesn't help matters.
Oh, I know. You don't like the way he tweets and he's fucking loud and obnoxious. We got to get over that.
No. There's ways to make your point. You know what I mean?
Yes. There's ways to make, and you know what? This is where you make me mad. We finally got a guy, everybody agreed, left and right, that this country's been broken politically for 40 years.
Right.
We finally get a guy comes in and flips over the fucking apple cart, and he steps on people's toes. And I know he says shit on Twitter. I know right where you're going about having a black or a Mexican female as the vice president. We could have wrapped up the Mexican vote. That you're dead right on with. But you don't like the fact that he's exposed the fucking media for the scum that they are.
No, I mean, I like little parts of it, but I don't like the fact that he's an indefensible human being. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm like.
He's flawed. That's the point. He's a human being.
I know, but what kind of you can't do everything you want to do without being a dick. You know what I mean?
Colin's been giving me that same advice about my career. I'm not shitting you, just another language.
But he's, other level,
All right. Well, yeah. I just, as far as I go,
I know.
He exposed the media, and if it all ended tomorrow, he's done more. George W. Bush used to turn the cheek, and that's what got us Obama. And I find him Yes, he's. When you're a white guy, an outspoken white guy defending a white guy, you're an asshole. That's all. That's.
No, I understand, but he actually.
I know.
I get everything you're saying, but
Well, anyways, hey, Quinny, you're the best, man, and my fans obviously love you. And so Red State Blue State is going to be on Memorial Day on CNN, right?
Yeah.
On CNN, and I said this when I heard that. You know who looks good doing that? CNN, because it makes it look like because Colin, and I'm not just saying this because I've known him he's the most as politically down the middle as anybody I've ever met. You can hear he looks at both sides, and this makes CNN look reasonable. It kind of pisses me off, but because they're out of their tits. But that's going to be huge, man, and it's going to go to Netflix, right?
Yeah, it's going to be Memorial Day 9 o'clock, so it'll be huge.
9 p.m.
Yeah.
Everybody.
In a bar, everybody's gonna be in a bar lounger. Everybody's gonna be having a barbecue, stomachs out to here.
Your face is gonna get hit by so many full Heinekens when it's on a flat screen. Just a bunch of drunken assholes. But that's unbelievable that a news network is just tell Don Lemon I'm gonna punch him in his big stupid face if you see him. Don Lemon.
I've seen him already. I've been there twice.
Yeah, tell him Nick DiPaolo says, go fuck yourself. And he'll go, who's Nick DiPaolo? Then show a picture of me and I'm 20, and he'll call me. Anyways, Quinny, I don't know anything else to plug or.
No, it's great.
I will see you. I'm coming up in a weekend or two to do I'm doing the podcast at the Cellar, Fat Black, and then a gig, and then your wedding. So I can't wait. Can't wait.
Beautiful.
I'll
see you then, buddy.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Nick.
Great Colin Quinn. We'll see you later. That's tonight, folks. Don't forget. That's tonight, the great Colin Quinn, Red State, Blue State. It's going to air on CNN at 9 p.m., and you got to watch a master. That's what we all refer to him in action. Everything is thought out, and it's funny. He doesn't get preachy. He's always entertaining, and everybody in comedy loves this guy for a reason. Don't forget Breath of Fresh Air. You can catch it on, go to nickdip.com, watch it on YouTube. It's still climbing. And the positive, the negative comments are like 21-to-1 ratio. So don't forget that. Don't forget cameo.com. If you want me to send a personal video to you guys, roasting one of your friends, beating up your old girlfriend or boyfriend or a relative you don't like or a bossy neighbor, don't forget Nick DiPaolo, nickdip.com for my tour dates. You can get all the information. I'm still touring this week coming. I'm going to Algonquin, Maine at Jonathan's. And the Whites of Westport on Saturday night in Westport, Mass. And so thank you for supporting the show. Have a great weekend, everybody. Great Memorial Day weekend. Don't forget about what it's really about. And remember, you guys think it, I'll say it. You're very welcome. I will see you guys on patreon.com tomorrow. Have a good weekend. Take care.